Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 3v3 on Lazur Factory. Our heroes today are going to be, since Mr. Osa PL playing as the blue austere faction. You can see in the list, his allies in the yellow for the OKW is going to be BPX Kronosaur0s, again as the yellow OKW. Then we have in the teal, Mr. Schl playing as the teal OKW. Their opponents in the red is going to be Mr. Foot Soldier Chocolate Face, nice, playing as the Soviets of the Red Army. His ally in the pink is going to be Major Setback, again as a Soviet player, and I see what you did there. Ha ha ha, Major Setback. Kind of like Private Parts or Corporal Punishment, or Major Victory, Major Defeat, you know, things like that. I see it. Funny. And lastly, in the orange, again as a Soviet player, triple Soviets, we have Sista Sm, whatever. Let's go ahead and close this out. Now, while the game gets underway in the frozen wastelands of Lazur Factory, we're just going to go through those doctrines. Interestingly, we see Kronosaur0s barbed wiring the bridge, even though there is an approach right here, but maybe he'll gonna barbed wire the rest. I don't know, but for now, at least he cuts off one approach. Which does cut off his side to that victory point, but I guess it's fine. Anyways, Mr. Osa, the guy in the blue, over here on the right-hand side, he's going to be going for the Luftwaffe supply doctrine. Kronosaur0s, his ally in the yellow, who already has a lot of Kubel wagons. Actually, just one, so I should say a lot. A Kubel wagon on the field. He's going to go for Fortifications doctrine. And lastly, Mr. Teal, with his own Kubel wagon over on the left-hand side, is Schl, who's going to be going for Breakthrough doctrine. Now, for the Soviets, we have the Chocolate Phase going for Shock Rifle Frontline Tactics. We have the Setback, who's currently going behind the lines over in the center. He is going to be going for Terror Tactics. And lastly, we have Sista, who has his Maxim machine guns right now moving towards the center. He is going to going for Shock Motor Heavy Tactics. And there you go. That's what's going to happen. So for now, we see the lines being established. Pretty much the Soviets are keeping to their side of the river, while the Germans are on there. We see a small penetration over on the left-hand side by the Major Setback, going with Combat Engineers and a Maxim machine gun. So we have Tier 2 going down for all three Soviet forces. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Maxim machine guns all over the place. And for the Germans, we have Tier 1 going down for Osa, and we have the Battle Group headquarters over on the right-hand side for Kronosaur0s, while we have a Mechanized Regiment headquarters on the left-hand side for Schl, so more of a combined arms type of effort. Left-hand side, first major engagement, we have the Maxim machine gun getting flanked there by the Storm Pios, getting itself decrewed. The Kubel wagon managing to get the suppression off on the Combat Engineer that is currently behind that sandbag. Maxim machine gun does make it out, however, so no decrew there for the Germans. Maxim machine gun setting up across the river, getting some shots off on the Kubel wagon. Kubel wagon turning itself around, going to be forced to back off and needs to get out of there. The Combat Engineers are retreating. They get themselves into the arc of fire of the Kubel wagon, but the Kubel wagon is not set up for damage, and it's not going to get too much damage in there. More Volkskrons moving up. Over on the right-hand side, or center map really, we see Maxim machine guns just going for massive penetration towards the center. We see mortar shots flying from Mr. Osa, from his Tier 1. Combat Engineers getting right on top of that mortar. There is nothing nearby to support it. We see a Pioneer squad moving in that direction. We have Grens across the river on the far right-hand side, picking up a kill on that mortar, or well, a couple kills, I should say, on the entities of the mortar. Can they actually clear it out? It doesn't look like it's going to be able to. Down to 3 men, forces a retreat. Makes it out of there just fine. Mortar up in the north does end up having to retreat for Osa. He has another mortar on the field for himself. Going to be trying to deal with those Maxim machine guns. MG42 trying to stop the Maxim machine guns out in the open. One of the Maxim machine gun is down to 2 men, and with a mortar on the field, it will be cleared out very easily. Shot flies, almost hits the Maxim machine gun, but does not get the kill. Storm Pios come in on the flank, getting right on top of that Maxim machine gun. Maxim machine gun opening up point blank on the Storm Pios squad, getting it suppressed even though it is in heavy cover. More shots fly from the mortar, getting more kills on that Maxim machine gun. Maxim machine gun down to 3 men, getting shot at the Storm Pios as well, and going to be cleared out if it doesn't retreat. More shots continue to fly. Storm Pioneer squad getting battered down to 2 men. It is at half health, so those are 2 very healthy men, but shots continue to fly, the Kubelwagen catching it, and the Maxim machine gun will get cleared out, and that is a free weapon now for the German forces. Storm Pilot Squad not actually managing to get the kill. Can they finish him off? No, they don't. Wow, that is unfortunate there for the German forces. Barbed wire did get laid down across both sides, but there was a gap right there on the wire, and they managed to crawl through. Right-hand side, we see the I thought it may have been the retreat spot, but no, it's an infantry support gun getting produced there for Kronosaur0s on the right-hand side. Maxim machine gun trying to stop the approaching infantry. We do have the Kubelwagen on the field getting suppression off on that Maxim machine gun, which reduces its effectiveness, and that allows a lot of damage to go through and the infantry to push forward. That Maxim machine gun is now going to get cleared. That is a free weapon for the Germans now, and the combat engineers on the far right-hand side are forced to retreat. More Maxim machine guns and an AT gun pushing up to the right-hand side. We do have a vulnerable battle group headquarters there. The AT gun can set up. Well, actually, it can. It needs to get itself in a very weird angle. It can shoot, obviously, through the building and potentially get hits, but it is going to be a little bit more difficult. Combat engineers with flamethrowers pushing forward. AT gun managing to snipe one of those Volksgrins as he takes a shot, but the combat engineer squad just pushes forward to get itself burnt alive. So with the battle group headquarters nearby, actually no, the battle group headquarters is on the left-hand side. Battle group headquarters is pretty much alone. On the far left-hand side, we see Maxim machine guns pushing forward for the purple player. Purple player being who? Purple player being Major Setback. Yes, I forgot. Sorry about that. Anyways, so Major Setback pushing forward, and we now see another half-track moving in that direction. We have a Puma on the field for Schleffer, a very early Puma, very nice. Well, not very early, but you know, there's nothing for it to fight, but it is going to be very difficult to take down. Maxim machine guns will do damage, but not too much. Oh, a Kubelwagen was stolen by Major Setback. When and how did that happen? I do not know, but there is a Puma on the field for Schleffer. He can take down that stolen Kubelwagen very easily. We see the Maxim machine gun retreating. We see a Maxim machine gun coming up behind the Puma. The Puma is not chasing down its own Kubelwagen, which is a surprising decision. The Kubelwagen currently has a damaged engine, and the Puma can very easily chase it down and take it out. But for now, it looks like Schleffer is letting it live. The Puma decides to chase down the Maxim machine gun and finally notices, oh, there's a Kubelwagen on the field. I should probably kill that. Takes more shots and misses because it's still aiming at the infantry. Shots continue to fly from the coaxial machine gun. Down goes the Kubelwagen, and at least order has been restored to the universe. We do have vehicle repair facilities on this side, while we do have a medic station nearby on the north. It's an interesting dynamic of the map, having stations, but not being the same. You know, medics for one guys, repairs for the others. Shock troops over on the right-hand side do massive amounts of damage there to the Grens of Mr. Osa. He is forced to retreat. There is a Maxim machine gun left there on the world as well. In the center, do we still have that other Maxim machine gun? No, Maxim machine gun did get stolen and is currently being leveled against something. I don't know, maybe nothing. Maxim machine guns opening up through the center. We do have the infantry support gun laying down a base of fire there on those weapons, while the mortars for Osa are just pummeling them at a distance. Those Maxim machine guns will not stand much longer. Volksgren squads are trying to hold the line. We see the Luftwaffe Doctrine selected there for Osa, as we mentioned before. Calling in a medical supply drop. Huh, yeah, it looks like it was. Not sure why he would, well, I guess he has the Doctrine, but, I mean, instead of wasting or using the munitions in that and maybe utilizing it later on, he could just build a medical bunker, but to each his own, I suppose. Hell, a med bunker around here would also be kind of great, but he also has a bag repair, so I don't know. Again, to each his own. Conscripts in the center for major inconvenience, or what is it called? Major setback. Forced off of the center. The center point is still open, even though the barbed wire got laid down. It still has a hole in it, so it is unfortunately not unit proof.
You need something built or blown up?
Red player over on the right-hand side pushing forward. AT gun moving up to the far right-hand side and getting artillery barrages going off on the mortars. The mortars are taking some damage, but they are holding strong. Oh, a nasty shot clears out one of the mortars. while the other one moves out of the way, the infantry support one retaliates and throws barrages at the mortar. The mortar is going to take quite a beating there. We do have 2 infantry support guns on the field, so those are going to be pummeling it quite effectively, and the AT gun will need to move. It moves actually towards the fire, getting itself shot a little bit more fiercely, and it's going to take just more damage. We see the Maxim machine guns pushing forward with the support of the other AT gun and conscripts. We have Grens pushing forward, getting some support on them. That is a supply drop zone. Those are fuel supplies that get dropped. The conscripts are going to go for the steel, but they only end up getting shot in the face there by the by the infantry support guns, so they don't make it out of there. And the supplies just keep getting flown in and dropped, so it's going to be quite a bit. Pioneer squad's recovering that mortar. We see reinforcements going down as there is a battle group headquarters nearby. So this is going to be a very difficult site to break, as there are 2 forces currently engaging. Over on the left-hand side, we see that Schl is currently engaging with the major setback. Major what? Yeah, major setback. I got it right that time. Puma still doing what it can. We see a Maxim machine gun stolen by Schl on the left-hand side. His battle group headquarters has gotten upgraded with a retreat point, as it has his mechanized regiment headquarters a little bit further back. Not exactly sure why it's further back. I mean, the vehicles do need repairs, so having them be at relatively the same distance would kind of be a little bit better, but for now it's fine. AT gun is set up across the river, or across the embankment I should say, and takes a shot at the Puma. The Puma is forced to back off, taking some shots there at the Maxim machine gun, but not doing too much. The stolen Maxim machine gun is set up to cover the point, as Volksgrens and Storm Pilots are trying to cross the distance and get nearby. Artillery barrage goes off into the center. The AT gun misses completely, and the Maxim machine gun gets flanked by the infantry, forces to repositioning itself. There it goes. Maxim machine gun as well, covering the other approach across the embankment, and we have more conscripts, or a conscript squad, moving around for major setback. Right hand side, it looks like the Soviet forces have gotten pushed across the river. Again, we do have a lot of indirect fire. That is 2 mortars and 2 infantry support guns. The battle group headquarters is nearby, but the mortar is not getting repaired, I suppose, or healed up I should say. I suppose it is because it is currently taking shots. Mortar for the Soviets is across the river, but it's a little bit exposed. Will need to move itself. It does have a Maxim machine gun nearby for support. Volkswagen squad moving in its direction, but the Maxim machine gun is not in place. And the AT guns and Maxim machine guns across the river are just getting barraged there a little bit by all those infantry support guns. Grants push forward, getting themselves suppressed there by the Maxim machine guns. Oh, nasty shots fly, hit one of the Volkswagen squads. And on the left-hand side, the Soviets are still trying to push forward. Maxim machine guns in tow and getting a lot of damage in there on that infantry. The Maxim machine gun for Schlaffen has gotten suppressed, so it's reducing its effectiveness. We do have 2 Volkswagen squads there, getting a lot of firepower in on the combat engineer squad. Shrek flies and actually eliminates the remaining member of that squad. Maxim machine gun and conscripts over on the north. We do have 2 more units. That is a supply half-track, no more units actually. And the Puma still on the field for Schlaffer. Another, we have a half-track coming onto the field for Kronosaur0s. Half-track is a very good unit there for the Soviets. It is nice to see it used, and I think a little bit underused I should say, but it I mean, it's a half-track. I mean, you don't always have to get only T-34s. The half-track provides reinforcement on the fly, anti-air capabilities, and with the anti-air weapon and anti-infantry support as well. Or it could even go for the flamethrower garrison guys and just wreak havoc as it does a lot of damage. T-70 on the field for Sista. Right-hand side, just barrages going forward by the infantry support guns. Having a lot of range, the mortars a little bit further back have gotten completely healed up. They could actually afford to move a little bit further forward to be able to barrage. I mean, they're not going to be able to do too much at that range. They can provide defensive support, but not offensive. We do have a flag half-track on the field for Osa. An interesting choice. Actually, well, I gotta say a spot-on choice. Not really interesting. I mean, it's interesting that he went for it, considering that most people will go for the Panzer IV, but yeah, I mean, the flag half-track will do a lot of damage to all the infantry, and currently they see nothing but infantry for the Soviet forces. We do have a T-70 on the field, but the flak half-track can deal with that very easily. And the half-track as well will fall to that flak panzer. So yeah, I mean, excellent choice. Infantry support guns getting shots off on that Maxim machine gun. It's currently suppressing 2 of the Volkswagen squad. Shots continue to fly. Continue to not hit too much. Finally, they get a nice shot there. Down to 1 man. Can he actually make it out? Yes, the flak half-track pushes forward. Not flak half-track, flak panzer. The Ostwind. AT gun setting up, gonna get a shot off on the Ostwind, but no, it actually manages to get behind it and is now gonna clear out that AT gun. That AT gun is a goner. Maxim machine gun also is forced to retreat as it no longer has any support, and the right-hand side flank has been broken for the Soviets. They push heavily on the left-hand side. We do have the T-70 going behind the lines. We see the Puma getting shots off on the T-70. The Puma should go chasing down that T-70 for really because there's a Stuka getting eliminated here by that T-70. The T-70 is not getting opposed. He's currently focusing on the left-hand side engagement, and that Stuka is going to go down to the C-70. That is a very, very big oversight there by Schlaffer. He had a Puma on the field. He should have chased it down, not trying to get the kill there. We see a barrage going down on the infantry here. For Schlaffer, they end up having to retreat. The battle group headquarters is no longer a safe haven, and all of them are forced off of the field in a nice usage of that propaganda artillery. Flak half-track goes in for a flanking run, getting shot there by the T-70, but it manages to get itself behind the lines of the Soviets. An AT gun is getting a little bit not focused here. It's actually still able to shoot freely, and the flak half-track, or flak, I keep calling it flak half-track. The flak panzer, the Ostwind, unable to get shots off on it, is focusing down the flak half-track, or the Soviet half-track, and does not manage to even get the kill. That Ostwind has been unable to do too much, destroys its engine, and is unable to move out of the way very quickly. The AT gun, however, is unable to shoot at it, but with a T-34 moving in to engage it, that Ostwind is a goner for this world. We'll get a couple shots off on the shock troops. Manages to inflict some damage, but not too much, and down it goes. Panther is on the field for Kronosaur0s. It's moving over very quickly over to the left-hand side. We now have a Panzer IV for Mr. Osa. Has lost his Panzer IV, his Ostwind, but manages to decrew that AT gun in the center. And we see a incendiary bombing run right on top of the weapon. Incendiary bombing run catching the AT gun. The AT gun managing to just sit there in the flames and get burnt alive. Going to be losing one more of its members before it makes it out of there, and there it goes. It is dead. DED dead. Center map. Maxim machine gun trying to recapture that victory point. Victory points are 386 for the Germans, 432 for the Soviets. Right hand side, more supplies just getting dropped on the world. That is a very nice thing there, but yeah, he's going to continue to just drop supplies. Essentially the same thing as converting munitions to fuel, so it's, other ways of doing the exact same thing. Reconnaissance overflight in the center, allowing the Germans to see everything. We still have points on the left-hand side that have not been recovered. Schlaffer is trying to recover those presently. He did lose his battle group headquarters, so he only has the mechanized regiment headquarters up in the north. Currently repairing that Panther with those troops. And the truck moves back down to probably set itself up back as a battle group headquarters, as it will potentially be used for the retreat point, right? Fuel supplies just getting dropped all over the place on this point for the Germans. Nobody picking them up just yet. It'll be interesting to see. How much fuel do we have? The Germans do have quite a bit of fuel, but yeah, Osa finally decides to go ahead and pick up those supplies. And on the right-hand side, we see 2 Volkswagen squads getting caught by 1 Maxim machine gun, getting themselves suppressed, pinned down, and even artillery of some sort. Incendiary barrage. Yeah, not too much. Massive amounts of Maxim machine guns catching a squad out of position, just eliminated with a barrage of machine gun fire. That is 4 Maxim machine guns at a time. Not a very pleasant sight. Left hand side, Schlaffen has recovered all the territory on his side of the river. He should be able to easily hold this side. However, there is still this point of incursion where we now see a conscript squad going for the cap of that point, supported by Maxim machine guns. So it's going to be difficult to engage. Su-85 is now on the field for the red player, Mr. Chocolate Face. And the Puma trying to ward off the approaching infantry, but not having too much luck as it is a Puma, and again, it's not designed against infantry. Panzer IVs and Panther moving down on the Maxim machine guns. The Maxim machine guns can get crushed, so the Panzer IV should just push forward, especially the Panther as well. Try and get as much damage as they can in there, but, well, with their main guns and machine gunners on top, they are also able to get a lot of damage. Panzer IV on the right trying to stop the shock troops from approaching, but it is supported by an AT gun. Gets shot in the face and is forced to back off, down to about 25% strength. Moves across the corner and stays alive, but the shock troops have taken quite a beating, down to 1 man. Panzer IV behind it, also able to get some more shots off. Shots miss, but they stay there. Panther on the left-hand side, trying to stop the approaching tanks. We do have an Su-85. The Panther has taken a little bit of a beating there to the Su-85. It decides to back off and stays alive. Panzer IV moving in to engage. Now with the Panther for support, the Su-85 has a bit of trouble here. Although the Panther has decided to disengage and the Panzer IV is on its own. The Su-85 just continues to turn itself and will be getting a very easy elimination here of a Panzer IV as the Panther chickened out and went home to mommy. Panther in the center decides to engage the infantry as the Panzer IV has gotten disabled in the center. The AT gun is decrewed, so that is at least a very nice victory. The AT gun needs to be taken out or stolen. Easily taken out with 2 Panthers nearby. But the Panzer IV on the left-hand side got eliminated. T-34 and Su-85 are comboing together over on the left-hand side as the Maxim machine gun is trying to hold the line. Grenade flies in this direction, doesn't do any damage whatsoever to the squad. And the Shreks from the Volksgrens are getting some shots in there, getting a little bit of damage spread out across the T-34 and the Su-85. Puma moves up. The Puma is actually quite good in this situation. We'll be able to get a lot of damage in there on those tanks. We see a probably incendiary barrage getting called in right on top of the Volksgrens. Yeah, there it goes. Forces them to back off a little bit. They do get caught in the flames and are forced to retreat. Once again, we do have the battle group headquarters, which is only now establishing its retreat point, but it will not be in time for that retreat squad to head in its direction. Right hand side still have a lot of forces just laying around. We even have a Grand Squad just pretty much being the guardians of the zone. Again, the mortars could afford to move up a little bit. I mean, they could move themselves up here behind this house. It's a very difficult house to get a flank on. I mean, they have to go all the way around here. So you do have a little bit of forewarning, especially with the MG34 just covering the zone. And they would have a little bit more range than being all the way back there. I understand that there they can reinforce and heal up, but, you know, have them be a little bit more active in the engagement rather than just sitting there with their asses. AT gun in the center did end up getting stolen by somebody? Or did it get recovered? We do have an AT gun here with only 2 men, so maybe it did end up getting recovered. Yeah, well. Katusha on the field somewhere. There it is. Throwing barrages straight at the battle group headquarters. The battle group headquarters will be taking quite a beating. We have a lot of resources here just getting spread out across. These Volksgrens could do with picking them up maybe, but something getting burned alive here. The mortars finally decide to move up as they did get a little bit harassed there by the Katusha. But now they're in a position where they can provide a little bit more support to engagements. Panzer Force moving in a column into the center, supported by some Grens. We have 3 Grens and 3 Panzer Force. Nice little combination. They get themselves in front of a conscript squad. Conscript squad just getting eliminated Doesn't even look like they had time to throw an 18-8. We have shock troops on the right-hand side. Shock troops are in a lot of trouble. The Panzer IVs, they need to get out of the way. Panzer IVs need to chase them down and just push forward. We also have Maxim machine guns over on the right-hand side. It could be prey. One shock troop squad not standing a chance. Doesn't even hit retreat. It just gets itself eliminated. And the Panzer IVs are now moving down south. AT guns are nearby, but they are not in the very best of positions. This wall should be taken down to open up the approach a little bit more. But the Panzer IVs decide to just circle back up, deal with the shock troop squad, and probably get themselves patched up a little bit as they took a couple scrapes there to their paint. Left-hand side, T-34 getting engaged by a Panther. Doesn't really stand a chance, but the Panther whiffs the last shot, and the T-34 makes it out of there alive. Conscripts do get an 18-8 off on the Panther, getting it damage on its engine. So it will have to back off, but it's pretty much fine, really. Combat Engineers pushing forwards for Sista on the left-hand side. He does have the Katusha on the left-hand side, and it will probably be throwing a barrage here at this infantry. There goes the Katusha barrage. The infantry is going to take nothing. They end up retreating. Everybody retreats. The squadron retreat actually ends up taking the most damage. 3 members go down. And the Maxim machine guns just hold really over on the sides of the victory point, and they stay alive. Grant's pushing forward. They get themselves in range of a T-34. T-34 are going to get Fausted in the rear twice. Third one going to be going off. Oh, more damage. T-34 is damaged on the engine, but we do have Panzer IVs nearby. One Panzer IV is not eliminated. It's actually just heading up north to get repaired. AT gun trying to make a stand against both of the Panzer IVs. Panzer IV is going to wreck through the wall, really. I mean, it should be able to. And the AT gun positions itself once again, and it's just getting caught out of position all the time. Su-85s, however, come into the defense of the AT gun, and the AT gun will actually be staying alive as this Panzer IV will be getting taken out. Out of control it goes, down it goes. Second Panzer IV down to a sliver of health. AT gun will be finishing it off as it does stay alive. Shot flies, and the Panzer IV gets eliminated. Yeah. Said that a little bit early before it happened, but it was kind of obvious what was going to happen. Grants across the river. Left-hand side, we have combat engineers and Maxim machine guns trying to push forward. A Maxim machine gun does get cleared out. Volksgrunts with their Shreks pushing or holding the flank, and the Puma backs off a little bit to get itself repaired. No, it doesn't actually need repair, so it's fine. Right-hand side, more fuel drops all over the place, and T-34 is moving around.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Kronosaur0s is the one that went for Fortifications Doctrine, but looks like he also has the salvage things because he recovered a Maxim machine gun there. T-34 is moving around in the center. Left-hand side, Maxim machine gun and combat engineer forced to retreat. KV-8 is hesitating there across the embankment. He is just sitting around for the most part and decides to turn its tail around and go back home. Su-85s do need to get repaired, so they could potentially be used together. Katusha going to be throwing a barrage in the meantime into the victory point. It looks like there is a lot of focused infantry here. Shots fly, but nothing hits. Oh, a nasty hit on one of the Volkswagen squads eliminates it completely. Second shot hits the Grenadier squad, doing a little bit of damage. And it does end up forcing the retreat of all the troops there. So the Katusha, at least, was somewhat effective. Supply drops getting dropped over on the right-hand side because that makes munitions. So that is basically what happens if you use the drop. It does it for the type of thing. So it's an interesting choice there that you can just use. Ah, wait, so that uses manpower. Oh, so that, never mind me, I'm stupid. For some reason I thought, yeah, I was looking at this one. Yeah, so you can basically just, you convert manpower to either munitions or fuel depending on what you want. So right now, munitions are getting dropped for Kronosaur0s as he's the one picking them up. Panzer IVs pushing forward. They run themselves into two T-34s. The T-34s are getting focused. Ram goes off, manages to get the crit, mobilizes itself, but the Panzer IV is still alive, and it's just gonna back off. Remember, the ramming ability has gotten pretty much nerfed to oblivion. I mean, when it was introduced into the game, it was just ridiculous. But basically what it did is, you know, it would sacrifice pretty much your T-34 to be able to disable the enemy tank. It would destroy its weapon and disable its engine. It wouldn't immobilize it, but it would snare it and make it unable to attack, which did open you to be able to take it down very easily. However, it's been getting tweaked and tweaked throughout the ages, and now the weapon critical is no longer a thing. I believe it has a chance to happen, but as you saw there, well, the Panzer IV simply got its engine damage, which is the equivalent of an 18-8 hitting it, and it just backed off and eliminated the tank. So yeah, I mean, nobody uses the T-34 ramming ability anymore because it's just not worth it. I mean, you have to get extremely lucky. You have to pray to RNGs and sacrifice a goat, probably, to be able to get the desired crit. Ooh, interesting. What the hell was that? I don't know what that... What is that? Are they getting spotted by something? Ah, yes, we are. So the infrared searchlight half track, which isn't used too often, is currently utilizing its scan to be able to spot units across the fog of war. So that's a nice. Ow. Which ability is that? Zeroing artillery probably has to be, right? Yeah. Well, anyways, Katyusha gets eliminated. Some tanks get eliminated in the center. It looks like that may have been the KV-8, actually. The Su-85s are trying to hold the line. Volkskrins push forward with triple Shreks, basically. Barrages go off. The T-34s are getting battered. And, oh, they may get out of there, but not before they get hit. Right-hand side, Panzer IVs, 3 at a time, just pushing forward together with the support of a Panther for a little bit more anti-tank capabilities. Shocks are forced to retreat from the right-hand side. We also see more infantry moving around in the zone. T-34 is moving in that direction. One T-34 standing in place as it is damaged. And I mean, this T-34 can't really hope to accomplish too much, just sending itself into the slaughterhouse. Panther gets a shot off. The T-34 gets rear armor damage. Panzer IVs back off a little bit, giving the T-34 a little bit of wide berth. Katyusha sending a barrage in its direction, or in their direction, but doesn't manage to actually hit the Panzer IV. So the T-34 backs off, managing to stay quite alive. Panther coming up for a nice catching out of position the Su-85s. The Su-85s takes a little bit of damage, but with the support of the T-34 and being two Su-85s, the Panther decides to GTFO and get himself out of there. Panzer IVs getting chased down right now by the Su-85s, managing to mask themselves behind the buildings. AT guns getting some damage off in the rear armor there. And the Panther is now being focused down by the Su-85s. The T-34 goes for another ram, damages the engine, but again the Panzer IV retains its weapon, getting some shots off in the rear armor of the Su-85. Su-85 going to be going down, and the second Su-85, try as hard as it can, will be going down as well. The T-34 now dead, and the Panther will help make sure that the Su-85 is done for. Pretty much all the Soviet armor has been eliminated. We have one T-34 left, abandoning on one of the Panzer IVs. They can recover that and fight with it, but it will die very quickly. A ram goes off once again, manages to simply damage the engine of the Panzer IV, and again, that's why nobody uses the ram ability anymore. The orange player, Mr. Sista, tries to go for a cheeky play, recovering both of the tanks as they got eliminated, or not eliminated, but abandoned, but only accomplishes nothing, getting himself killed. Panzer IV, they got rammed with a damaged engine, just continues to push forward. 16 points are left for the Soviets. They are currently triple capped, so that should be game, and before the points end, they all throw in the towel, and that is all she wrote. So there you go, guys. Oh, look at that. Look at that plane right there. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.